I guess this is where we start. The name since I was born responded to my living once. When I was a child, my parents got this place here, and all those trees, my dad planted them. They were actually not really there when we lived there. It was probably the best place to live in Utah because of these famous artists that were all down here. There was like a river that would wind around everybody's house, and there were ponds and stuff, and art walks that would connect people's homes and properties. It's a lot bigger than it looks from here. All this stuff over here didn't exist. All of this was actually just forest and mountains. All of that. All of this didn't exist. None of this was here. None of it. It was just mountains behind us. So it was really, really luxurious. And we had an entire mountain as our backyard. That made us the luckiest children that could be found anywhere. I promised myself that I wouldn't have children until I had a place that was as good as this one. Because that would have been the best definition of heaven, would be my parents singing to me. They were beautiful, tucking me in at night, and then having all this stuff to play around with as a child. It was seriously wonderful. So Sunflower Drive is where we lived over here. And so this is my home in Highland. I didn't want to have children until I had a home as nice as the place in Highland. And so that's where my mind goes whenever I see that word, Highland. It would mean heaven, or the heaven I'd be creating for my children. My mom bought this house right here after the divorce, and we moved there at the end of elementary school, and we were living on the Bends. This is our house right here. Palm Bee has a Scorpio symbol tattooed on her wrist. A fabric is carried, the 16-scented celebration every year, that is unwrapped from the wrist on the final stage on the day of air, where people are taught that people aren't objects, and that's for the letter Q to happen like our ancestors did it, to select who gets to touch their partner. On that day, people select one person to touch and 5 people to surprise touch that haven't been selected. And so the tattoo from the show Highlander for the watchers is not very different from hers. It would be the Scorpio symbol zoomed in, but with 13 dots around it, which makes sense because they're 13 days for the most hardcore participants. I made this to keep our relationship alive for the rest of our life. Every year to rekindle it.